Here we come.
Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Disney Pod. We are back with another episode. For the third time, one of the rare three-time guests, Alison Klemp, is here to talk Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. I'm about to call you Alexa Kemp. Alison, how are you?
I'm good. It's a three-peat. We're doing a three-peat.
Doing a three-peat here. Yeah, we've got a lot to say. That was a long movie. But before we get into this newest disaster by Disney, let's...
I know you're chomping at the bit.
Oh, my God. Let's get into what's been going on. Alison, last time you were on this podcast was May of 2021. What have you been doing the last 2 months?
Oh, man. I've been doing a lot of writing.
Yeah, that's right. You won this prestigious thing, right?
Yeah, well, I got accepted into a pitch forum for a festival, and I was selected by a really great agency as like their, favorite selection, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm going to be going out to that in the beginning of August, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I've just been kind of writing and rewriting a lot in the last few months, and I went to Detroit, glamorous Detroit, for my very first bris.
What's a bris again?
Bris is it's a circumcision, but it's like a religious ceremony for Jews.
How was that?
It was surprisingly good. I was very nervous about what I was getting into, and it actually ended up being a pretty chill time. So it worked out.
I don't think the baby was chill though. Was
the baby was actually surprisingly chill.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, he was a champ. He took it like a champ. It also helped that the guy who like does the circumcision in the Jewish faith, it's not always like a doctor, sometimes it's just like a religious leader, but this guy, his day job is that he's an OB. So this is like what he does all day long in his day job. So it's like it I think was, at least for me, having never experienced this before, it definitely made the whole experience a little bit easier, being like, this guy's got it. Like, he's got it under control. I'm not worried about it,
Okay.
So.
Well, that's nice that you went to go to a brisk in May. And she actually told me your idea for the pilot, and it's actually really good. I think it's got a good chance of getting made, I think.
Well, thank you. We'll see what happens. We'll check back on this podcast in a couple years.
When we do Maleficent 3, because
believe
it or not, guys, they're making a fucking Maleficent 3.
It's coming!
Whether you like it or not, no one liked it. How about stand-up? Have you been doing stand-up lately?
I've been doing a little. Honestly, not a lot. I've been kind of just really busy, and like kind of focusing on this other thing right now. So I'm like doing it when the opportunities arise, but I'm happy to take any spots, but I'm not like grinding super hard in that area right now. Just I'm focusing on other things.
Has it been surprising to you kind of like how stand-up has just reset itself, like that it's just basically back to business as normal, the same nonsense?
No, I mean, there are some people who never stopped.
Yeah, it's true.
What is weird is like how many people I don't know who are doing stand-up now, because there's like all these people who like started in the pandemic and stuff, and it's like I was like judging a roast battle the other night, and I was like, I know like 2 people here. Yeah,
it is. When I go to Tiny Cupboard now, it's like there's like a whole new group of people, and I'm like, but even like back, I remember like the first time I saw Michelle Wolf at Caroline's. There was like all this high praise for her, and then she already had an agent, and I'm like, where has this woman been performing? Like this alternate universe, like, because like she came into Caroline's, like the first time I ever saw she had a Breakout Artist series, and she had been performing all over. So it's always kind of feel like there's been like when that guy that Aaron Berg feuded with Radat, what was his name? The guy who dated Kate.
Raghav.
Okay. When he died, I was like, I never heard of him until like all that went down, and then all these comics were like, oh, this guy was this guy was like, where were these shows going on? So
Brooklyn.
Like, all right, come on, okay, don't answer the question. That don't make it make sense. Like, oh yeah, Brooklyn. There was this area of Brooklyn that you never go to. That's where they were doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Intentionally, we're trying to keep away from you. So
I know. Well, that goes without saying.
Yeah,
so,
well, they weren't doing stand up at your house, so you didn't know.
Well, I invited Jeff
Asmus?
Yeah, when he lived in Astoria, but then he moved.
Yeah.
Probably because I invited him to my house.
Yeah, he was like, I gotta get the fuck out
I
of
gotta
this
get out of
city.
here. That's all the spots I'm getting.
I'm gonna go to a whole new state.
Yeah. I heard it looks like he's blown up in Chicago.
Yeah, he's doing really well out there, I think.
Oh, that's good. All right. Well, yeah. The past 2 months, it looks like it's been going good for you. So that's nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like every day is the same. Every day is very hot, and then it's over. And then I haven't done any of the things that I wanted to do that day when I woke up. So that's pretty much how every day has gone for me for the past 2+ months.
That's
so
kind of me too. Yeah.
I was driving around a very old car that was wonderful, and then the AC broke, and then it was no longer wonderful, and I didn't even get it like checked out. I was just like, I just know that whatever it's gonna cost to fix this is gonna be probably more than the car is worth. So, 'cause it was like a 1998, you know. So, I drove around in a sweat lodge for about a month. So that's part of what I was doing, and then that would take so much out of me that then I just couldn't do like anything else for the rest of the day.
Wow, yeah.
And then I did that until I had a nervous breakdown a few weeks ago.
Oh.
And was like, I'm just going to run this car into that pole and end this because it's so fucking hot and there is no reason to live anymore. And I didn't. Spoiler alert. I made it through. But I was just like, yeah, I have to get a new car because this car makes me want to kill myself.
Jesus,
so
yeah.
if you start getting suicidal ideation while driving a car, definitely check it out. You know, figure out what the source of that is. Is it the car? Is it something else? If it's the car, just get a new car, man.
Get a new car.
Very easy.
So, see, it's not all fun and games in your world.
But it's good now. I got a new car. It's got air conditioning.
That's much better.
I haven't tried to kill myself once. So we're on the up and up, baby.
When a car doesn't have AC,
In a heat
it
wave.
can be brutal.
In a heat wave.
It's like you're in a mini oven.
It truly is. It would be like nice out. It would be like a day where it'd be like, oh, it's actually like really nice outside, and then I get in the car and it's like 20 degrees hotter, and I'm just like sweating so much. I hope I lost weight. I haven't weighed myself, but
in the 80s, cars with AC were luxury because we didn't have one with an AC. And I think the 6 didn't have AC until like the 90s. And I look back and like, how did we live in New York City? Like, that's just unlivable. Like,
it was less hot then.
That's true.
The climate was different.
Yeah, it's true.
It changed.
Because the like in the
hey man, you've changed. Just the air.
Yeah, the 50s and the 60s. Like my mom used to say, like there used to be no AC in any of the subways, and it's like, well then why would anyone live in this in this town?
I know. I think about that all the time when I'm like wearing just like, you know, shorts and a tank top, whatever, and I'm, you know, sweating my balls off and, you know, climbing up. Anytime I have to climb up like any amount of stairs in New York, and I was like, you know, the injustice. And then I always try to be like, okay, but like if you were living like back in, you know,
the 50s.
Even farther, you know, and I'm thinking like if you were in like the 1800s and you had to wear like the giant ass dress with the petticoat and the stockings and the heels and like the little bonnet and all that shit, like, oh my goddamn. And you know that shit was like heavy, and you know that shit did not breathe well probably, and no one has like proper plumbing, so everyone just smells.
Yeah,
you know, no one's there were no bidets, right? So no one's like getting all their ass crack clean, you know. There's just like mud butt for days, and you just like take your little bucket and you splash your asshole, and you're like, all right, that's my shower. I'm like, God, New York must have and it smells so bad now, you know, but like, man, it must have smelled so much worse.
Yeah, that's true. You know, like we not that me and you are naked, but you're wearing a tank top and shorts.
I mean, to some religious leaders we would be considered naked. Yes.
Yeah
depending on who you ask.
And I'm still pretty hot, and you're right, because if we were like doing this in 1937, you know, like I'd have pants on with a dress shirt, and you'd be like, I don't know, wearing a zoot suit. I don't know what you'd be wearing. Like, we would not be like this. There wouldn't be this. And again, like I'm saying, we're not naked, but we're showing a lot of flesh. I think we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By 1937 standards.
By 1937 standards, but today's standards, not really. So
no.
I don't want anyone to like fucking be like, why isn't this a video podcast? But no.
Or right. Thank God it's not a video podcast.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, let's get into it. Let's get into Maleficent 2. So I'll be honest with you. After Maleficent 1, I had high hopes for Maleficent 2. I don't know why, but I was like, you know what? This was so bad. There's nowhere for them to go but up. And to their credit, they found new and exciting ways to go down, down, down to make it worse. And I'll let you give your thoughts in a second. I hated every second of this movie.
Really?
Yeah. Why, you didn't hate it?
You just seemed so riveted when we were watching.
Oh, okay.
Where he's like getting up, going to the bathroom, checking the mail. It's like doing little chores around the house.
What did you think?
You know, I did not. I had low expectations, and it managed to still disappoint. So I expected nothing, and I got worse.
Yeah, that's the thing.
This movie took something from me. My afternoon.
Yeah.
I could have taken a nap. That would have served me, other than, the wonderful opportunity to get to hang out with you and bullshit around on a mic, which, and this is a testament, I think, to my friendship with you, is that I will sit through 119 minutes of Maleficent 2 just for the opportunity to hang out with my friend Ray Goots.
See? That's true. That's true friendship.
Let me tell you about this movie. This movie really put the mall in Maleficent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I went from a Spanish homies. That's what's up.
Yeah. It
mall means bad.
Here's the main problem with the movie. Although that's like not even there's so many problems. Maleficent is barely in this thing. She is barely in this movie.
I think there is more CGI in this movie than humans on screen.
Yes. And for most of the movie, she's unconscious or just away.
She's like Aurora was in
the first
Sleeping Beauty. Yeah.
It's really like, first of all, when the movie started, this is when I knew it was going to be bad. They're actually playing Aurora. Her first scene looked so annoyed. She looked so, like, she couldn't hide the fact that she was like, why am I back in this movie?
Yeah.
And there was never a second where I thought that actress was happy to be in this film. I think her Ellie Fanning. I think that's her name.
Elle Fanning. Yeah, she's like, my sister never would have agreed to this.
Yeah.
I've made a huge mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I never should have signed that contract with Disney.
I kind of think they must have things in the contract because there's so many times now with Disney where people, and like I don't see this with other movie studios where actors come back for the sequel and the sequel's like 20 times worse. Mm-hmm. They must have in the contract that like
money.
You will be in 2 and 3. And you have zero say over the script. So if we write Angelina Jolie has to like dance around naked, which won't happen, Disney, she's just got to show up and do it, or they could sue her. Like that has to be what's going on.
I feel like probably that's true.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be. I mean, I'm sure that they are obligated. I'm sure certain actors are obligated to the sequels. Obviously Prince Philip did not have the same contract because
Thank
that was
God.
a different guy, and they were equally bland.
Yeah.
At least this guy like did stuff. I don't know.
He did more than the other Prince Philip, and I did kind of buy that these two remotely liked each other.
Yeah, they had better chemistry
As acquaintances.
definitely. I will say, spoiler alert.
We're gonna spoil this whole thing.
At the end of this movie, it was like I don't like that. It was like the only two men in the movie were like, we're the ones who are the peaceful people. These women just want war. And I just want to bring this country together in peace. And it's like, what man ever?
Yeah.
What king ever is just like, I just want to live in peace with all the creatures. It's like, okay.
Oh.
I get that you guys had to make the men the good guys because the women were the villains, but like.
Well, let's break down what happens. So the movie begins with, even though Maleficent was the one who saved Sleeping Beauty in Maleficent 1, somehow a rumor got started.
Fake news.
What?
Fake news.
Fake news. A fake news that Maleficent did not save her. That Prince Philip did, and everyone hates
Maleficent's the bad guy.
Yes, she's the bad guy. Hence
and
why this is
the
called
bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Duh.
Yep. Oh yeah, I forgot that's how the song goes. So meanwhile, Aurora and Prince Philip decide to get married. Maleficent
Which they were
like,
apart for 5 years for some reason. Not explained.
Yeah, he had a war was he at war?
I don't know. I just said that because I was like, what else makes sense? I don't know. But they were just like, it's been 5 years. And it's just like, why? I don't know.
It's been 5 years. Okay. So there's
Remember
a lot
me?
There's a lot of this movie that like, by the way, like, not that I didn't pay attention, but like it was so boring that they just kind of like gloss over. Like it just, a lot of it didn't make sense.
This movie was like White Conda. It was really bad.
What'd you say?
It was white Wakanda.
Jesus.
It was just like, what if a bunch of white people remade Wakanda?
Oh,
And
yes.
And it sucks.
It's very Conda.
Because white people just made it beige and bland and boring as shit.
Yeah. So Maleficent's all, you're not marrying this guy. And she's like, yes, I am. And the family wants us to have dinner.
And she doesn't give a reason.
No, she's just racist.
And like, I don't, maybe they explained it. I don't know. There was like this thing with Maleficent throughout the whole movie where it was like her jaw had been wired shut and she was relearning how to talk. Like, do you know what that was?
That's called Angelina Jolie was on a lot of coke every single day.
She's like, there's like this whole scene where the Raven guy was just like teaching her how to say thank you. And it's like, what? Like, did she just wake up from a coma? Like, she's spoken words before.
Let me get in. Yeah, let me get in the characterization of Maleficent because this movie was really weird with her. So the first movie, she kind of learns how to be human and love people and love Aurora and be a good person or a good fairy, whatever the fuck we're calling her. She kind of
Dark Fae,
a good Dark Fae. She kind of unlearned all that. All her progress is gone somehow at the beginning, and she's just not in a good mood, and she's
mad because everyone's talking shit about her.
Yeah, she's mad, but they don't really have a scene where she like expresses, I'm really upset because I thought my life would be like this, but my life is like that.
Yeah.
They don't really do any of that. She's mad. She gets injured. She gets knocked unconscious. She gets brought to this other world where she doesn't really do anything. She kind of just stands there and listens the entire time. Then she just gets gifted more power. She then flies around, dies, comes back, doesn't do much again, and then just goes to a wedding. Like, she doesn't ever... For a movie about Maleficent, the character did nothing in this movie. It was kind of shocking.
It's like the big climactic like battle at the end of the movie, and she's like not even there at all. And then she shows up at the end, and it's like, all right, bitch, like we already did everything. Like the Blue Fairy fucking killed herself.
Yeah, the Blue Fairy dies in this movie.
She sacrificed herself to save everyone because, bitch, where were you? Flying around in a cloud, getting dressed.
She did have.
She had to go get her costume changed.
She did have a nice new Maleficent dress. Very revealing.
Really slutted it up.
She slutty.
It was as Disney naked. Is
Disney
what she
naked,
was wearing.
yes.
Yeah.
Disney Oscar.
You could see all of her clavicle. It was scandalous.
Yeah, but the basic plot is that Michelle Pfeiffer's character hates, which is Prince Philip's mother, hates fairies, hates everything special and unique. So decides she's going to kill it with the help of Warwick Davis, who plays like an evil gnome, and she frames Maleficent for putting her husband in a coma. She then wages war with what did they call them again?
The Dark Fae?
Yes, so let's get into Dark Fae for a second.
So the Dark Fae are bigger, more powerful fairies.
Yes, and that's the race that Maleficent's part of.
Yes, and they're like the guardians of the Moors.
And when Maleficent wakes up, she has her helmet off and her hair is long. And these Dark Faes take away so much from Maleficent as a character.
Well, sexism.
What do you mean sexism?
All the other Dark Faes were guys.
Yeah, well, there were some women. Did you see the black woman who was hitting on the black guard at the end?
I didn't mean to misgender. Honestly, I probably just wasn't paying attention for enough of the movie.
There were
all like the main ones that talked.
The main Dark Faes that talked were men. The female Faes didn't have much to say, which was weird. But the whole thing about this was that it was basically about diversity. It's you said Israel Palestine, which I think is perfect. The Dark Faes are Palestine, and Michelle Pfeiffer's kingdom is Israel, and they've got to learn to come together, and Maleficent kind of has to help bring them together. But all that just takes away from Maleficent. The reason why we all like Maleficent is that she's evil, mysterious, creepy, weird, kind of sexy in a dominatrix way, but nobody wants to say that because it's a kid's cartoon. And the first movie already took a lot of that away. But this movie just completely demystifies the character.
Yeah, this is like if Harry Potter came back with a sequel and it was like, in this one, Voldemort learns how to love. And you're like, but that's not what we want at all. Nobody asked for this.
Yeah, and it's like Disney has been on this big. Notice they didn't kill Michelle Pfeiffer. They kept her around.
Nobody dies.
Nobody
in this
dies.
movie.
Well, some fays die.
The blue fairy dies.
The blue fairy dies.
Spoiler alert.
I have a
one
feeling
else
that
dies.
actress was
Everyone else who dies gets somehow brought back to life by magic, except for that one fairy.
I have a weird feeling because it was odd that they killed the blue fairy because she's such an iconic.
Well, she's like a sentient flower.
Yes, but I have a feeling that actress pitched the fit and was like, I can't believe I'm back for something this stupid. And they were like, all right, just kill her. Because it's very weird to kill the blue fairy. That's like doing
maybe she comes back in Maleficent 3.
I bet you she's not in Maleficent 3. I bet you anything. I bet you the actress
can't have
pitched
two.
the fit.
They'll just get another actress.
That's true.
Like, we're going to tell the fucking difference. It's all...
Well, that's probably why they killed her, so they can, just to get rid of that actress.
Honestly, but they didn't even, Prince Philip is a full human, and they totally changed the guy. No word of it. And
That's true.
you know
They
what I
just
mean?
changed
It's
the
like, it doesn't
blue
matter. And she's, all CGI'd up anyway, so it's like, if you change the actress, honestly, probably no one's even going to notice.
Honestly, I thought...
No offense to the actresses.
No, but I thought about this because what happened was the head of Marvel was going to replace Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man for Civil War. He basically was like, nobody cares.
Jesus.
And that's when Kevin Feige had to step in. Now he's in charge of Marvel. He went to Disney. But I have to say that if they did replace Robert Downey Jr., in Civil War, they just kept moving forward. I probably still would have went to all the movies. I would have went to all those
Sure,
movies.
I mean, they would have replaced him with someone good.
Hopefully,
sure.
You hope.
But it's also, crazy to, look back and be like, can you imagine if they had changed Iron Man? And that's, so...
It'd be funny if they got someone really bad. I'm trying to... Tom Welling from Smallville is now Iron Man.
Or fucking Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. Or, no, I'm trying to think of, the guy, Daryl from Walking Dead.
Fucking Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher. Oh, in theory... No, Charlie Sheen.
Oh my god.
And they just but I probably still would have went. I probably would have hated it. I would this stinks, but I would have went.
Would you have watched it if they had recast Iron Man with Louis C.K.?
Yeah, only because of my Marvel thing. Yeah, I think I would at this point.
Yeah. You have a problem.
What, with Marvel?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking around at your living room, so I already knew that. But
yeah, you already. Yeah. I really got to give Zack Snyder credit. I got to give him credit that he put, and I hate him, and I think, but when he found out about Chris D'Elia, he did reshoots to put Tig Notaro in the movie of Army of the Dead. Did you hear about that?
I did not know that.
Oh, so this, and I hate this guy, but I got to give him credit.
I'll give him credit for that.
The movie was done.
Whenever I hear anyone say the phrase "give him credit," now I just think about that Brian Regan bit. Where you're like, guys, did you hear? They're gonna give us credit.
Yeah. Well, no, because he's a horrible. He made one of the worst movies ever. But I heard Army of the Dead is horrible. But the movie was done. He could have just
but
been
at least he has principles.
Yeah, he could have just been the movie's done. Who cares? Look, he has better principles than comedy club.
Everyone who's gonna see my movie doesn't care if a rapist is in it.
But
I'm Zack Snyder.
But instead,
I know who my fan base is.
His fan base would not care.
My fan base is full of rape apologists.
Yeah, but instead he got Tig Notaro, which I thought was, which was great that he made her. And she said when he approached me, she's like, "Why do you want me?" And he explained, and she goes, "Oh yeah, fuck yeah, I'm in. If that we're gonna
fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck him. Yeah, I'll be an action star."
Yeah.
And I heard her scenes some of the CGI is a little suspect because she was never on set with anyone. She was. But I got to give him credit for doing that because he went to Netflix and said, "Give me the fucking money. We're getting this guy out of the movie."
Yeah.
There's so many directors who wouldn't have done that.
But it's also even if the CGI in her scenes isn't perfect, it's all right, we're gonna give you a pass on, because you understand the situation and you're like, yeah, if she had been on set, that's different. But the fact, and because it's also that's not cheap to do.
That's not cheap. It costs them a lot of money.
Yeah.
It costs, but you know what? The funniest thing is, Zack Snyder has more higher principles than most comedy club owners.
So, are you gonna buy a ticket to see the movie?
It's on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
So essentially, I already paid for it.
Okay, great. Well, that's a win-win.
Yeah, I could watch it.
You could just turn it on.
I really hate Zack Snyder.
Here's what you could do, though. You could just
put it on, go to bed.
Play it on mute.
That's true.
And then go about your business.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. That's true.
And then they get the little clip.
Now, if Louis C.K. was in the remake of Willy Wonka, I wouldn't go see that.
No, I'm probably not gonna see the remake of Willy Wonka.
No, it doesn't matter if they cast. So maybe you should cast them because no one's gonna go see it anyway. But if
yeah, he has to feed his children.
Louis, yes, he has to be.
I'm very worried about Louis C.K. being in the poorhouse.
I love it when they say that. I remember Michael Chase.
How's he gonna feed his children?
I don't know. It is millions
of
dollars. It's
dollars?
called investing money. If
Louis C.K. runs out of money, then he has made the worst financial decisions of anyone on the planet.
I'm not trying to say I'm rich. I have like 5% of Louis C.K.'s money. You know what happens? You go to a bank, you put an investment account, and it just magically grows.
Yeah.
And now you have. I'm not trying to just have my money sit in. I made $4,000 on Friday. So like if my life fell apart, I have $4,000.
Passive income. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So I think Louis C.K. could do that. I think Chris D'Elia could. And if they can't,
I'm sure they already are because all of those guys have financial managers.
And also, Chris D'Elia's dad is rich.
Yes.
He was looking to.
Chris D'Elia was rich before. Like Chris D'Elia had fucking trust funds in his name and has been making passive income since he was a baby.
So these guys can make money upon money by sitting
They don't have
still.
to do anything.
They don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
They have. So it boggles my mind. It's just it's a way to get like these incels, to go support their comedy, like these poor incels.
Because it's not about the performer. It's about look at how far we got off.
That's okay. It's fine.
It's fine.
This is what the Disney podcast.
Nobody cares.
By the way,
there's like one Maleficent 2 diehard fan who's like, "What the fuck?"
Can I tell you, if Seth Simons listened to this podcast, he would have all the answers to the problems in comedy, but he doesn't. He listens to Legion of Skanks, and I give the deep truth. All right, Caroline screwed Kevin Hart. Continue.
I'm gonna DM the link of this episode to Seth Simons so that he listens.
Okay. Right.
And then he'll know.
And then he'll know that he should listen to all the episodes, and then he'll
He needs
know.
to go back and binge.
He'll be like the Disney podcast that saved, but then he'll criticize me ranking a podcast that highlights a corporation that is taking advantage of people.
I mean,
Can't win.
I
have a show at the Stand too, so that means I'm a Nazi.
It's like I get it, but also I don't know.
But anyway,
I wear sneakers and we have cell phones.
That was my thing. Yeah.
Like no one can be fully moral in this world. It's
no,
impossible.
Because you can't live.
You can't survive.
Yeah.
So it's like unless I'm like gonna go out into the woods and like forage all of my own food and like create a system where I can live off of the grid
and go to like 2 general stores.
Yeah.
Also, you're gonna buy corporate food.
And also, I have a farm,
yeah.
and I'm in a co-op. Like it's just, I mean, that's such another level. Like, what am I? I'm not like living on a commune. You know what I mean? Like
when the pandemic hit, we'll get back to comics in a second. When the pandemic hit, Ronda Rousey made a video on Instagram that was like, "I grow my own bread. I grow my own thing. I make food out of compost. You could do it too." And it's like, yeah, you make $9 million a fight, Ronda.
You have
Rousey.
a lot of land,
yeah.
Ronda.
Yeah. You
I can't farm out of my window box.
Yeah. She's like yelling at people. I don't know why you guys go to the store anyway. We can keep this virus if you just grow your own food. It's like Ronda.
Just grow my food, bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You grow the food, Ronda Rousey. Anyway. But yeah, that's the thing. I think they use that line of thinking to get these poor kids that sit on Reddit who don't really know how the world works to keep supporting their comedy.
Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Because it's like, because it's like these guys, they see these performers being accused, and then they put them.
They want to protect them.
They put themselves in, as an avatar to the performer, and they're like, oh, what if that was me?
Yeah.
What if that happened to me? It's the same thing that people do with Trump, right? How like poor people, because Trump talks like a poor piece of shit. And they're like, oh, he talks like me. He says the same slurs as I do. That means I'm just like him. And that means that someday it's possible that I could have money like he does. And it's like, fun fact, you do because he doesn't have any money. But it's like these guys are like, oh, I could be just like him. He's me. And what if I got accused of this? Well, and I lost my job. Well, then I wouldn't be able to feed my family. He needs to be able to feed his family. We're the same. And it's like, you're not the same, bitch.
Yeah.
He's rich.
Yeah.
You'll never be the same. He never even wants to talk to you. He just wants your money.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is he was able to get away with all this stuff because he has power. Half the time, people that didn't speak up against Louis C.K., it's not because they're afraid of Louis C.K.
No, they're afraid of his manager.
It's for managers and agents.
Like, because the people who did speak up got fucking blacklisted.
Yeah, it's like, the problem, half the time, like, these clubs that book some of these acts, it's not because, like, they're in love with Chris D'Elia, although some of them are, but it's also because, like, the agents and managers say you have, in order to get... There's a trick. This is a trick. I swear to God, it's a real trick. This is what some agent was doing. You call, hey, I want to book Tracy Morgan. He has a whole set of problems, but I'm not getting into it because my friend. And not Tracy's my friend. The person who has problems is my friend. Okay, you want Tracy Morgan? Yeah. Okay, it's going to be X amount. Oh, that's a lot of money. All right, we'll tell you what. We will only charge you this amount, but you have to book this dum-dum for a weekend.
Who
Oh,
we
they're not
also
a draw and they're
Yeah.
really weird. Does it? Oh, well, if you want Tracy,
Yep.
you have
You
to
gotta
take
get
this
this
dead
guy.
weekend.
Yeah.
And that's how some people, and they have to bow to these agents and managers. So like,
And at the time, Louis C.K. had the same agent as Dane Cook, who was at the
Aziz
time
Ansari.
and Aziz Ansari, but like early 2000s, like Dane Cook was the king of comedy, you know? And so it's like, if you want access to Dane Cook, you know,
gotta do Louis
you
C.K.
don't fucking cross Barry Katz.
But Louis C.K.'s touring manager, agent, whatever. Listen to this who he had when Louis was at his height of jerking off. He had fucking Amy Schumer. He had Bill Burr. He had Kevin Hart. He had Ron Funches. He had Mike Birbiglia. He had all. So if you decide, I don't know, you're running fucking governors and you decide, I'm going to take a moral, not that they ever would, I'm going to take a moral stand. I heard rumors. I refuse to have him headline your club. That guy can say to you, really? You're going to highlight these issues of my client? Well, guess what? Now you don't get Mike Birbiglia. Now you don't get Amy Schumer. Now you don't get this. Now you don't even get fucking, Tammy Pescat. He doesn't have Tammy Pescatelli, but that's like it goes down that road.
Yeah.
And now it's like you got to headline the Goots, who you should headline.
You should always headline the Goots. So that'd be one lesson out
You
of this
can't
whole
do me
scenario.
You could do 365. I would sell out, but I'm just saying that, you know. So that's the thing. It's like those are the real people to go after. Not anyway.
Exactly.
Now we really.
It's the power brokers always.
Yeah.
They're always the worst people. You know. So, but also give me a job.
That's the other thing too. If this guy, he likes me. This guy, I can't say his name. He always liked me. Even and like if he did go to me and be like,
how convenient. This guy who loves me, I can't say his name, but he goes to another agency.
But if he did say like, hey, I want to help out the Goots, because he's the type of guy. This is why everybody has.
He should.
This is why everybody. He's the type of guy that like if Louis C.K. back in the day was like, I need you to murder these 5 children. Don't ask questions. Been like, they're already dead. They're already dead. I sense that you wanted these 5 kids to be murdered. I had the Russian mob following them. They were dead 3 days ago.
That's how committed I am to you.
That's how committed I am.
And your money.
To you, your money.
Mostly your money.
Wait, the New York Times put a report. I don't represent you anymore. And don't call me.
Yeah. And if you're one of those comics that is represented by that person, then you can't say shit either.
Yeah.
You're going to get dropped by your fucking agency.
Yeah, because he's murdering children for you. In theory. Okay, so let's get back to Maleficent, Mistress.
Speaking of murdering children.
So the end of the movie is they're supposed to get married, and then Aurora finds out Michelle Pfeiffer's evil plan, and Michelle Pfeiffer just like spills it all. Like, I hate fairies, and I hate magic, and I hate joy, and I hate my son, and what do you love, lady? And I did this all for the people.
I'm fighting for the people. It's like the only people you know, you just said you hate.
Yeah, I know. And then their big war takes place between what do they call the Dark
Fae?
The Dark Fae. Who came up with that name?
And but like all the magical creatures.
All the magical creatures. And
Because
Michelle Pfeiffer.
the wedding was a trap.
Yes, and Michelle Pfeiffer whoops their ass. By the way, she also has. Give you the line you gave me when Michelle Pfeiffer showed up at the war.
No, I don't remember it.
There's a war going on, but you found a person to hold an umbrella.
Oh yeah, no, I wrote it down.
Oh,
But
man,
you
I was trying to feed it to you.
You just ruined it though. No, yeah, she was like leading. She was leading an army. You know, she's like the general, I guess, in this scenario, and she's like, oh, tough, badass. But then she has like P. Diddy style, just has someone like holding a parasol over her the entire time, and it's like, yes,
the entire time,
the whole time. And it's like just like Winston Churchill. Like,
is that true?
No.
Okay, that'd be kind of hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah. No, she's. But here's my main problem. The way these are all Maleficent people. So there's like an army of Maleficents. So I don't know. If you told me an army of Maleficents is coming to take out Astoria, I would assume, we're going to be dead in about 2 hours. Like, no. And again, it's because they have
she engaged in
she
chemical
whoops
warfare.
Their ass.
She had chemical warfare.
Okay.
She had her little creature, and it's like I don't know why the magical creatures are they're okay when they're working for her. She has all these little gremlins running around her castle. So this, I don't know, pig person guy.
Well, it's like slavery. It's okay when you're my slave, but
you're my property.
Yeah.
So she had him come up with this like powder or whatever that like kills. I guess any of the magical creatures, just like
Yeah.
instantly
But
evaporates them.
bloodlessly kills them, so we don't see a bunch of dead bodies.
Yeah, but it's like just like this red smoke, and then it touches them, and they poof.
Yeah.
So red smoke, China, watch out.
Uh-oh. But this battle goes on forever, and apparently the dark face strategy is to just fly really fast into Michelle Pfeiffer and then die. Because that's pretty much what they all do. I don't see any of them really trying to hey, maybe we should change our battle strategy.
Hey, and the three of them did it. They all died instantly. I'm going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's...
Because we're all really dumb, apparently.
Yeah, it was really weird. I hate it. And they've done this in the X-Men stories are notorious for this. So they'll use the X-Men or monsters or fairies and stories as allegories for diversity and for racism and stuff.
Right.
And there'll always be a battle between the humans and the X-Men or the monsters. And in all of these battles, the humans somehow get an upper hand on the X-Men or fucking the monsters, which makes no sense. If there was a guy named if there was a guy like Magneto, Professor X, and I could imagine them taking over this country in about an hour. One guy controls all of all the magnetism in the world. The other guy can control all the minds. And then you have Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Storm, who can control the weather. Yeah.
Jewish.
Jewish. And they always get their asses kicked by the humans. And it's no, that wouldn't happen. And also you can't compare Magneto to a black trans woman. Because Magneto could kill all of fucking Astoria in 3 seconds.
Right.
I would not want him to live near me.
I know. He's just let me just bend that bridge in half. No problem. Let me just think about it for a second. Oh, all the guns in the world, they're in my hand. They
did that on Supergirl. They did an episode. They tried to do an episode because Alien on the TV show Supergirl, and there was a neighbor next to this character that could randomly explode, and the neighbor was like, "I don't want them in my neighborhood," and they called the guy racist. And it's no, he's not racist. If somebody can randomly explode, that supersedes racism. I think.
You should not live in a city, my guy. You gotta live on a big plot of land.
Yeah. And they made it out like he was a jerk, and they made him into a Trumper.
Oh, this is my existence is a public health risk?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't want my house that's right next door to yours to catch on fire. It's literally nothing personal.
Wow, you're a racist. No, I'm not. You literally explode randomly.
No, I'll call you on the phone from a distance and talk to you all
Zoom in your
day. Yeah, we can
retreat.
Zoom. It's all good,
But you can't live if you can't do my naked show.
It's just that your house is flammable and my house is flammable, and if you explode, I'm just concerned about the children.
Yeah. I think it wasn't either he exploded. He did something that would actually hurt people.
Yeah.
And they tried to make the character into a Trump racist. I was no, that's not. Anyway. But my whole thing is I just feel it would have been. I want to make a movie like this where it's ooh, the humans and the monsters are at odds, and the monsters won't be accepted. And then when the battle hits, the monsters just slaughter the humans. And they're maybe you should have accepted us because we have wings and magic, you dumb fucks. And now you're all dead.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Yeah, well, with Magneto, they're always his kryptonite is plastic. We got him. We wrapped him
that's why they have old now. No, they banned plastic bags. So see, Magneto wins again.
Yeah. Magneto's going to go for a swim in the Pacific Ocean and just get caught up in a bunch of soda can rings.
Oh, I can't do anything.
Choke on a straw. Drown. And that's how Magneto dies.
That's it. That's the end of Magneto. I have a weird feeling. I hate to get an MCU talk, but I was reading the autobiography of Malcolm X, and I'm I have this weird feeling they're gonna make Magneto black, even though he's supposed to be Scarlet Witch's dad. But I think they're gonna override that and make the Malcolm X's story into Magneto's story. That's my theory. Because Malcolm X was a criminal, then he kind of becomes white people are no good, Nation of Islam. And then he kind of falls more into all right, some white people are good. It's more about the white people in America and how they think. And I think that's going to, I don't know why I'm thinking that's going to be Magneto's arc. But I do think with them trying to make it more political, I think Magneto kind of being, and they always said that Professor X was Martin Luther King and Magneto was Malcolm X. I do kind of think they're going to directly just rip off Malcolm X for Magneto. That's my theory.
Think they're going to get Denzel? That would be hilarious.
That would be hilarious if they just remake the movie Malcolm X, but he's Magneto.
Yeah.
That would be...
Honestly, I'd watch it.
I mean, Magneto in a suit, and then you put Sabretooth in a suit, and they're like, it's called the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
I mean, they would look amazing.
They would.
You asked me if I read Malcolm X's autobiography. I did not. It's very long, but I did watch the movie, which is also very long. So I think I should get some credit for that.
I really like the book. The book. So when I told my friend I was reading the book, he goes like, a lot of it's bullshit, and I was like, well, it's still a good book. And they get to the afterward. And
I think any autobiography is going to have some degree of bullshit because you can't be objective about yourself.
Well, we get to the after. This is why the afterward's awesome. The afterward is from the author, and he then he goes back in time and explains having to write a book with Malcolm X, because at first Malcolm X didn't trust him. He thought he was like a white man's puppet, and he breaks down writing this. And he kind of admits, I don't know if all this is true, but this is stuff Malcolm X told me, and I wrote it. And then like there's scenes where Malcolm X goes, all right, I really didn't say that, but leave that in the book. And so like it's kind of like, do you ever see the movie The Adaptation with Nicolas Cage?
No, it's on my list though.
It's really good. Well, it's like there's the movie, then there's real life, and it goes back and forth.
Oh, yeah,
That's kind of what the end of the book is. It goes back through the book, and you're almost like, it's almost like reality is crashing with fiction, and then he dies, and that part is very like factual, but happened when he got shot and his funeral and everything. But
it's like, all right, we're not gonna fuck around on this one. This one's important.
Yeah, well the book, anyway. But like it breaks down like what was Malcolm X's point of view, because while he's writing the book, he falls out with the Nation of Islam. He goes to Mecca, and his viewpoint started changing, and the book started changing. So it's interesting, and his reality starts changing as he's learning more about people who took advantage of him and stuff like that, and his views on white people. And that's the interesting part, because it's like I don't know. So the claims of that book are bullshit. It's like
people change as they grow, and it was such a long project.
It's a meta story.
Yeah.
Once you read the afterwards, the whole thing is meta. It's like it's takes
really
on
interesting.
Yeah. But Magneto
Well, get it
and
on
the
a
monsters.
Kindle. I can't carry that heavy book around. It's too
Well,
hot.
you gotta get a Kindle.
I know. I'm saying I'll get it on a Kindle.
That's what I did. It was on sale for like $4.
Nice.
But back to what we're really here for. So Maleficent shows up. They're all dying, and she just kind of flies around in a circle. She doesn't really do much. I gotta admit,
Malcolm X would never.
He would never fly around in a circle.
He would get in that shit.
He'd probably get shot, but he would definitely fly.
But he would also shoot some people.
Yes. But she does turn the Crow Man, who, by the way, is stuck in the friend zone, and he just gives exposition.
He's in the friend zone. He is a slave.
Yeah.
That man has no free will.
Well, he's basically an exposition guy. He basically explains where the movie's at.
But like in the beginning of the movie, when you first see him, and he's like crowing around. Oh no, he's a raven. Sorry, let's give him credit. Yeah. He's a raven. Not a dirty crow. And like he turns into human. And like his face in that whole scene after like she's just turning back human, he looks so, and maybe this is because how everyone looks in this movie, he looked so like
tired,
pained and unhappy, and like he looked like he was like had just been tortured. And maybe that's what shooting this movie felt like.
I think it did.
But also I was like, the way I interpret it, I was like, he is so miserable in this existence. He's so unhappy. But he has to be. He was like, oh, it would be cool to be a bear. And she's like, shut the fuck up. And then at the end of the movie, she makes him a bear.
Turned into a crow bear.
But he's like a bird bear. Yeah, he has like a bird beak, and then he's like a bear.
So Maleficent and Michelle Pfeiffer finally confront each other, and Michelle Pfeiffer kills Maleficent because Maleficent doesn't do anything. Then Maleficent becomes a dragon, and while she's a dragon, what? Somehow. It
was like her, like the embers of...
Well, she gets the power from Idris's twin. I thought that was Idris Elba, but it's not.
She would tell Ejiofor.
Oh, it's that guy?
I probably fucked it up, but...
It really is that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, he looked good. Sorry, he looked older. He looks older in other movies. Boy, they really... Once Disney gives you work...
He always looks good.
Once Disney gives you work, they give you work.
They do like a whole like Instagram filter on you the entire movie.
Because he was in Lion King that year too. He was in Doctor Strange for years before that. He's in the new Doctor Strange coming up as well. So they really so he gives her the powers. By the way, I was kind of hoping that there would be some type of romance because it would be nice to have like an interracial romance. Not a hint of it. Not a hint.
No.
Maleficent has no interest in getting down and dirty with anybody.
She's asexual, I think.
Well, she's had her heart broken too much.
She's a frigid old bitch is what she is.
Yeah, so she turns into a dragon, and again, Michelle Pfeiffer throws Aurora off the building. Like, still has enough time to So Maleficent saves Aurora. They turn Michelle Pfeiffer into a goat. Maleficent says to Aurora, "Do you really love this guy?" And she's like, "Yeah." They have a wedding. Everyone who was just killing each other just unites for the wedding.
They're like, we're peaceful now.
Mm-hmm. And they have and the wedding dress that they gave this poor actress looked like a clown outfit.
Yeah.
It looks so bad, dude. I was like, really? That's the wedding outfit you're giving Sleeping fucking Beauty in live action?
It's like, how many thousands of dollars did you spend making this horrific dress, like custom making this dress, certainly for this actress?
They give her like an afro. What was that? Like these weird like horns? Were they hair horns? What the?
Yeah, it was like, I guess, yeah, hair extensions, but they were supposed to look like Maleficent's horns, I think.
It was so bad. It was like,
yeah, trying to make Elle Fanning look like Maleficent with that like super blonde hair. It's like when like blonde girls go to Cancun for spring break and they get the cornrows. Like that's kind of like what it felt like.
It looked like
felt like appropriation.
It looked like when white women.
She was doing dark fae face.
Like white women in the 80s were trying to get like Grace Jones like hairstyle. Remember that? Like for like the new wave women. Do you remember that? Like really short.
I mean,
like
I've seen pictures.
Dolph Lundgren style hair that women had back then. That's kind of what it looked like. Weirdly. Yeah. Dolph Lundgren, Grace Jones. Were they dating? Oh no, Grace Jones dated Sylvester Stallone, right?
I ain't got no clue for you.
All right. Well, you really just are a horrible person.
Here's what I can tell you. My uncle used to go to the same gym as Sylvester Stallone. And spoiler alert, he was a dick.
Yeah, I heard Stallone's a dick.
So
but I still love him. I don't care.
We don't really watch Stallone movies in my house growing up, except for Demolition Man. For some reason, was an exception.
My friends, when he was a kid, Stephen King was a huge dick to him, and to this day, he won't go see a Stephen King movie. He had no interest in it. He had no interest in watching The Stand on CBS Plus. It's just that's why, like, I try when I really love somebody, I try not to meet them.
Yeah. It can really fuck things up.
Yeah.
Because if someone was a dick to me, it would affect how I viewed them. I mean, I have a friend who I used to wait tables with, and the restaurant I worked at, never while I worked there, but they would sometimes host the SNL after parties. And so one time while he was working, Seth Meyers was like rude to him. He like brought him, and it's like crazy. Like the parties are crazy.
Tina Fey was rude to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, but also I can see it. He has a tray full of vodka drinks. He sets down Seth's drink and he like spits it out and was like, "This is a vodka tonic. I ordered a vodka soda," or whatever. And says, "Oh, sorry about that." Cans him a vodka soda. Like, there you go. Sorry. But he like is so mad about that, like to this day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it's like, and I get it. Like you're like in the weeds and you're like, just running around trying to get everybody their things, and someone's like yelling at you, and it's like, man, you're making like so much more money than I am. Like, can you just not yell at me?
Yeah, well, so you can always tell how a person is the way they treat a waiter.
Yeah.
You can like a person could be like, you can meet someone like for a business meeting, and they be telling you how wonderful you are, you're the future of the industry, they love you, and if they treat a waiter like a subhuman, you're like, oh, this person is gonna fuck me one day.
Yeah, or like on a date. However, here's what I'll say, because I would love a writing job on Late Night with Seth Meyers. And it is truly the late night show that I think that my voice really just melds perfectly with.
Listen, some waiters deserve to get yelled at, all right, Seth? You did the right thing. No.
Well, here's the thing, and here's what I told my friend, and I continue to tell him to this day, is that the high-stress environment of Saturday Night Live is very intense. And, who knows what happened that night, right? Like, maybe he got, like Lauren threatened to fire him, or maybe his sketch got cut at the last minute, Maybe he was, like, really worried about his job security. I'm not sure exactly what year this was. I'm not sure where Seth Meyers was at. Whatever. I don't know. But, he was maybe just really overwhelmed with work stuff. And I know that I, as a human being who is fallible occasionally.
No, you're not.
Sometimes when I'm really stressed out and I've had like a really bad day at work, sometimes I'm kind of bitchy to like some random person that passes by me, and then later I feel bad about it. So I'm sure he felt bad about it, and I tell my friend that. And, someday when I work for him, I will garner an apology from Seth Meyers to my friend, and then everything will be fine.
It'd be great if like everything with you and Seth Meyers is amazing. He's like, you're my favorite writer. I want to make you know what? I want to give you your own show. And you're like, hey, by the way, I had this really cool this story that he felt really bad. He was like, you know what? Your friend that guy deserved it. I hate waiters. You're fired.
No, he's like, I remember that guy.
Worst waiter ever. Fucking. That's your fucking.
If I saw that fucking guy
get
again,
the fuck out of here. I fucking hate people in the lower class. You better get the fuck. Imagine.
I'm like, wait, but extra works for Google now.
You never should have fucking brought that up. Dude, that's my thing with. I
think about that guy every day.
I had a friend who worked for Rowan Farrow, and the stories she told me,
holy shit, I bet,
was horrific. And like I saw there was this documentary, Harvey Weinstein on HBO Max. I was like, ooh, and it's him, and I'm like, I can't watch it. It's like the Riddler catching the Joker with those two. You know, like I remember. I don't remember all of them, but it was
like
just
he's awful.
The Ronan Farrow?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's awful.
Really?
He treats everyone like horrible.
Wow.
He's just a rich, miserable person to work for. And
wow, he has a great PR team.
Oh yeah, he does. But she literally like she would come home crying. He would be mean to staff. He would be like, "Don't look." This is when he had the MSNBC show.
Wow. Well, he doesn't have it anymore.
Well, now he's like.
And I bet those people all still work at MSNBC.
Now he's like Clark Kent now without Superman. Like he's basically like the reporter's reporter, but whatever.
Yeah. The number one name in rape, Ronan Farrow.
I don't think he raped anybody. But
No, but he reports on all the rapists.
Oh yeah, he gets all the rapists. Except
it's like that's like the running joke where it's like if Ronan Farrow is doing a story on you, fucking
you made
pack up and run.
Well, you also kind of made it like yes.
Yeah.
You're like I'm gonna because Dan Schneider. There's so much evidence that Dan Schneider and Charlie Sheen have done stuff.
Yeah.
He didn't write a story about them, so that's all I'm gonna say. Like that dude, like. I could write a story. I have evidence about Charlie Sheen, but I'm not a reporter. Or I could be.
You could be.
I could be. I mean, and Corey Feldman
start your Substack.
He named Charlie Sheen in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
He just, but like there's.
I know,
evidence.
but Corey Feldman has no credibility anymore.
I think he has credibility on that though.
I believe him.
Yeah, on that.
But he has done so much over the years that no one is really taking the things he says seriously, even though I do think that it is true.
I know, but like I think his reasoning is, hey, I know I'm a fuck up, and I know I'm an idiot, and
But he's a fuck up because of
these people, and
this is my thing, mm-hmm. and just to plug my future television show, Vigilante. But like, it's like, this is like the kind of like mind fuck of it is that it's like rape makes people crazy, mm-hmm. and especially if like the aftermath of the rape is bad, like people go fucking out of their minds because of the like continuous PTSD that is happening mm-hmm. to you, of like people not believing you and like having to see your attacker all the time and having to like pretend to be nice with them or like whatever the fuck, like all sorts of shitty situations that people get into. And then people lose their minds. And then when they speak up about the rape, they're like, well, we don't believe you because you're crazy. And it's like, no, I'm crazy because I got raped.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, that's like the girl. So I remember I used to think. You did the Valentine's show. I had the Shrine to Miranda Cosgrove.
Yeah.
I'm kind of not into Miranda Cosgrove anymore. It's not because I'm a pervert. She got older. I'll tell you why. So there were a lot of rumors that Sam.
I mean, she was of age then.
Yeah. She was. I got pictures of her when she was of age. I still listen. If she came in here right now and asked me out, I'd go out. But anyway, let me tell you why I'm not.
I mean, if she asked me out, I would go out. So it's fine.
Oh, so that's with you or
me
as well? Okay.
I would go out with Miranda Cosgrove.
Yeah, who wouldn't? But
I would probably be. I would have to check with my.
But I'm not.
Betrothed.
But I'll tell you why I'm not. So there were rumors that Sam on that show got raped by a tutor, and there were all these
mm-hmm.
rumors about her. And
yeah, I've heard that.
The show, the Sam and Cat show, got abruptly canceled. She had a lot of problems. There was something going on with her. I think she got assaulted again. I don't know. Like there's
mm-hmm.
like a lot of weird rumors.
Yeah.
But she did not come back for the new iCarly, and she quit acting. And she kind of vaguely references what happened.
She's made some references, yeah.
But she won't say it. And I kind of feel like Miranda and the rest of the cast know, and they just went right back to like kind of putting money, because inevitably some money's going to trickle down to big fat smelly Dan Schneider. And it's like, I get iCarly's all you have, but also like you're feeding the machine.
Yeah.
And you know that you're doing it.
It's disappointing, and especially because Miranda Cosgrove has the most agency of anyone on that show. So like if she said something about it or took a stand on it, then everyone else would be able to fall in line behind her. But so it is on kind of on the responsibility on like the biggest star to do the thing, because like the lesser named people aren't going to have any power.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like Amanda Bynes too. Like she definitely was.
Oh, she knows some stuff. And Jamie Lynn
No,
Sigler.
I think she was assaulted. I think.
Yeah, she was.
And she went crazy.
I used to know the
and then
whole
everyone's
story.
just like everyone makes her a punchline. Everybody just makes fun of her. And she's like in all the tabloids, and people are just like like all the country's making fun of you, and you're just like trying to recover from this horrible trauma that you're like it's like a death by 1,000 cuts.
I think Jamie Lynn Sigler knows more too. I mean, we already know that she screwed Britney in her situation. Jamie Lynn.
Jamie Lynn Spears.
Yeah, did I say? Oh, sorry, apologies to the girl from Sopranos. Probably just had nothing but a wonderful time with James Gandolfini and wasn't getting raped. But I think Jamie Lynn Spears. I definitely believe that wasn't the baby's dad. The person they said was her.
No, that's like a.
Yeah, I don't think it was Dan.
That's like a.
Yeah, I don't think it was Dan
secret,
Schneider
right?
like everybody says, but I definitely think it was.
It was like some other producer.
Mm-hmm.
It was like her agent or something who was like 40.
Mm-hmm. And they paid that guy to pretend to be the dad, but I definitely think that she plays the game a lot. That's the most.
Well, she's also complicit in all this Britney shit too.
Yeah, I'm saying she's complicit in all. So I think a lot of these people are complicit, and I'm not saying that like the people making iCarly are complicit, the reboot, but it's like. I don't know. I kind of get a weird. I haven't watched it, and like you would think I'd watch it now because now she's like 26, 27. So now I'm not a pervert anymore if I think she's hot. But like, I just get a weird vibe from the show, especially with what happened with Sam.
Yeah, and Sam was the best part of that show.
Yeah, Sam was the most talented actress.
She was so good.
It's always the most talented people that quit. You know, like Dan St. Germain's not doing stand up that much anymore, and it's like, well, it's always the good guy the good people who don't want to leave.
But people always come back too.
Well, we'll see.
You know.
Maleficent. So let's get back to that.
Speaking of always coming back.
Yeah.
Maleficent. Can't stop, won't stop.
It was not good. I think you said it. You had a good point, but like I remember like just watching all of this stuff happening on the screen. I mean, during the final battle, there's like 1,000 people on the screen, maybe, and flying. And if I describe this to you, like even like 20 years ago, you would be like, "My God, there's all these flying monsters, and they're doing battle in a castle, and there's fairies running around, and there's bears, and there's." You would just think like, "Oh my God, this." It was so much bullshit. It was shocking how boring this much excitement was.
It was like y'all spent so much money to do nothing.
Yeah. It was so much work and effort to bore me to tears for 2
And it's so long.
So long.
119 minutes of my life that I will never get back.
I mean, we remember, I'll never forget, we looked up Maleficent 2 after Maleficent 1, and we're like, 2 hours.
Yeah.
What could they be doing?
The third one's going to be 3 hours. It's going to be like Alexander, another Angelina Jolie vehicle, and it's going to be 3 hours long.
Do you think Angelina Jolie did not want to do this? Because she's barely in it.
I mean, is Angelina Jolie on pills? Because that is like, that's the vibe of her performance in this movie.
She doesn't seem interested.
She doesn't know who she is. It's like she doesn't know who she is. She doesn't have the whole.
There's no agency.
The whole premise of like Michelle Pfeiffer, blaming Angelina Jolie on the king getting knocked unconscious or whatever is that like she goaded her into getting upset, and then she lost her.
The big thing.
She gets mad, and then she like loses control over her magical energy, and it kind of blasts out, and then he passes out, and so everyone blames her. But it's like, bitch, what are you, Elsa in Act 1 of Frozen 1? Like, you don't have control over your powers. You are not young.
You kind of knew they might do this.
Yeah, you knew that they were going to do this. You have been in these situations before. Like, you have no control of your temper. Like, what are you, on menopause? I'm not trying to be ageist, but like, what's going on here?
But that's like if you're the father of a black person, right? A father of a black son. And the parents are racist, and you're gonna meet the parents.
Yeah, and you're like, this is probably gonna be fine.
And the parents probably like, oh, black people. You've heard rumors that they think black people are like violent or whatever. And the moment like they say something to you, just start like shooting a gun in the air. It's like, come on, like you
just went for the most cartoonish, like extreme stereotype, and you just went all the way for it, like
you just go
immediately, like you went from 0 to 100.
Like I wasn't being racist. I just said
there was no like, hey, shut your mouth first. You know what I mean? Like, hey, watch what you say to my face.
All Michelle Pfeiffer says is like she's gonna be part of the family. But wouldn't you want Michelle Pfeiffer to consider her part of she's gonna marry the fucking son? I wouldn't be like, yeah, you know what? We don't want to even be near this woman that's marrying our son. Like, would that be more? Would that?
I never want to see this bitch.
Yeah, like
don't bring her around here.
Yeah. It was just so. That was my whole thing about this movie. For the entire movie to work, Maleficent has to act like a complete and this is the same thing as old. I hate movies where in order for this movie to work, someone has to act like a complete fucking idiot at the exact right time.
Yeah.
And
for no
smart.
reason.
Yeah. And
like, it's one thing if it's like, oh, they were distracted by something and so they let something happen that they shouldn't have happened or like whatever. You know, if you can like have a justification for it, we'll go along with it. But there's just like no explanation, no reason. It just seems like she had a fucking lobotomy in between the movies or something. And she's just like, what? You know, just how do I say thank you?
Yeah, it's
my jaw can't move.
You're supposed to say hi when people walk when you come in. I don't want to do that. All right, then really, you don't want to do that. You never said hi. You never went into anyone's place in the last 5 years.
It's like she's acting like a feral animal who like hasn't interacted with you. She's like acting like people who just came out of quarantine for a year and a half.
I hate that too. I hate movies where the girl. That's why I never saw Ted 2, because Ted 1 was all about this guy growing up and accepting that he's married, and then Ted 2, she just vanishes and he has to like again accept that he's growing up.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I don't want to see that movie. I hate it when the sequel is like, remember that growth we just did? It's gone.
Erase it.
Yeah, and it's like, well then
do over.
Yeah, it's like, well then what was the point of the first movie? Because they didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
What other movie was like that? There was the new Terminator where they killed John Carter. I was like, what? Did you see that one? Wait, Linda. Did I ruin it for you? I
wasn't gonna watch it.
Well, they killed.
I'm not. Listen, no new Terminators. I'm not taking.
Terminator 2 is perfect.
We're good.
The beginning of the new Terminator reveals that 5 years after Terminator 2, a Terminator shows up and kills John Connor anyway, and then Linda Hamilton's character just becomes a miserable asshole. And it's like, well, then what was the point of Terminator 2? What was the point of Terminator 2 if he just winds up dead? You know what I mean? Like, why did we go through that movie? And that's what I hate about Alien 3. Because Newt winds up dead, the little girl that Ripley saves in Alien 2. Did you ever see Aliens?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the point of Alien?
That's the whole point of the movie.
She fights so hard because she wants this little girl. She wants to be a mother to this little girl. If the beginning of part 3 is the girl's dead, then what was the point of the journey that she went on?
It's like, can't you just come up with a different problem?
Yeah.
There's so many problems in the world, in the universe.
Why can't you just have it take place years later and like, oh yeah, Newt's with my sister. And I'm gonna go fight some more aliens.
Yeah, and then
Newt,
here's a different part of the world.
Yeah, Newt went to summer camp. All right,
it's like, you know who didn't fuck it up? Ninja Turtles. Because the third one, they're just like, we're in China this time. Who gives a fuck? You know?
Yeah,
and it's like, it doesn't erase anything that's been done before. We're just in a totally new environment. Doesn't make sense, but it's fine. And it's pretty.
You know what? I never saw part 3.
Oh.
I own it. I when I saw there was no Shredder in part 3.
I haven't watched it since I've become an adult, so I don't know if it holds up. But I do know that when I was a kid, I fucking loved it.
Part 1 really holds up.
Yeah.
Part 1, first of all, is a very realistic. It's very realistic how New York was back then. I mean, they kind of but Times Square was not safe, and they kind of show it. And the turtles are like real people.
Yep.
And they have real conflict, and it's like conflict that a brothers would have. It was sometimes this stuff with Ninja Turtles is like, and I don't think I'm saying this from like I'm a man-child point of view, is shockingly well done. Some of this stuff
Ninja
with the
Turtles is great.
Yeah. Like, it's shocking. It's when they do the Turtles right, it's better than like G.I. Joe or He-Man. Oh, the new He-Man's really good. You should check that out.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason when I was a kid, like the image of April like going to her apartment with like the 2 grocery bags, that like was like burned into my brain, and I was like, yes, New York. Like I was just like, I don't know why, like I don't know why, like the idea of like carrying your groceries was like so romantic to me, and now I do it, I'm like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
But even April is a really good female character. In like, you know, like somewhat incarnation.
She's not helpless. Like,
no, she's like the Megan Fox version's kind of meh.
I mean, but the
original, like that actress, and even the part 2 version. I never saw part 3, but yeah, the second one's not as good, but the first one, I think it's a very well made movie for its time. Yeah. But you know what's not a very well made movie?
Maleficent 2, Mistress of Evil.
Mistress of Evil. Do you recommend any children see this movie?
No.
I don't recommend anyone see this.
I don't recommend. I mean, maybe as like a punishment. If you're bad, we're gonna make you watch Maleficent 2.
If you had to make Maleficent 3, what would be the plot?
Man.
I know what mine would. They
Yeah,
wouldn't make
do
it
yours.
though. She just goes evil. Like
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
She-
think of like what she would do as an
throw
evil.
all this goofy good person shit out the window, and she just turns fully evil, and that's it. I would even go as far as like they go back in time and they undo everything, and she's just evil, and she was never good.
I got you one.
I'm sorry.
I got you
Okay,
one.
what?
She turns Aurora evil.
No, Aurora turns evil.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That would no. She doesn't turn Aurora. Aurora just turns evil.
Aurora joins her. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not like she forces her, but like she influences Aurora into becoming evil, and then she turns on Prince Philip, and like now it's the most bitter divorce of all time.
But this is what I think they're going to do, because they have no interest in making her evil ever again. She's lonely, and Aurora and Philip decide to set her up.
Oh my god.
And the whole movie is she has to get a husband. Now, here's how I'd make her husband. Do you remember Fantasia, the monster on the mountain?
Mm-hmm.
He kind of looks like her, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's her husband. And she's got to turn him from that evil monster into a beautiful, dark... Dark Ferris? What's it called?
Dark Fae?
Dark Ferris would have been way better. Dark Ferris Bueller. A dark Fae prince, and then they marry. So she's got to... I think it's the Malabog or whatever in the Fantasia movie. So they've got to go to that mountain and free him of his curse so they can get married.
All right. Or they set her up with some king or whatever, and then
The Brad Pitt. Let Brad Pitt be the king.
And then
And
they
he's
have to
evil.
fight.
He's secretly evil.
And then like some woman from his past like comes back and wants to fight for him, and then the women fight.
How about
for the
this?
man.
There's a
Women fighting for a man. Typical Disney shit.
there's a kingdom, and the king and queen are Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck.
Ooh,
By the way, that's the comeback I did not expect, but I'm here for.
I'm all for it though.
I'm all yeah, me too. I've never not that I ever cared about this before, but I think it's I don't know. I think it's fucking hilarious. Good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
Good
Fuck
for them.
it.
I you know what, I like Jennifer Garner in movies, but I never she made Ben stop being friends with Kevin Smith, and that to me is like shady. I don't like that.
I mean, look, we don't really know what was going on behind closed doors.
Jennifer Lopez loved
I
Kevin
think
Smith.
that well, because he gave her work.
But also, he is a nice guy. I met him. He used to do shows at Caroline. He's very nice.
You know what? He did retweet I had a tweet that he retweeted.
See?
So, well, I had a tweet that went like not like huge viral, but like it went a baby viral. And then was it about? I think it was maybe about a Kevin Smith movie. I don't remember what it was, but some other comedian who also has an OnlyFans. So, has a certain following on Twitter that I don't. And no shade to her because her pictures look amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All power to her. Not for me. She posted the exact same joke after I posted the joke. I don't know. I'm not going to say that she stole it. Maybe it happened to be word for word parallel thought, but he liked her tweet and I think he retweeted it, and then I was like so mad. I was like, well, of course he fucking retweeted
Hers.
this like chick whose profile picture is in lingerie and she's super fucking hot. Like, of course that's the one that caught his eye, And then eventually he did like mine. I think that someone tagged him on it, but it's like, can't use that retweet though.
Well,
He owes me a retweet. That's all. We'll be good once I get my retweet.
maybe you can be a voice actor in the next season of Masters of the Universe, which he wrote. It's pretty good. You should check it out. So it's only like 2.5
I would do that.
hours.
I would bury the hatchet if he put me in a voice
You
role.
could voice She-Ra.
I think that's fair. I think I should.
There you go.
Make it happen.
The Neuver. I don't.
You're
know.
the Goots.
I'll speak to him. I'll be like, hey, listen. I know we only spoke once at the Caroline's green room, but
But it was a memorable time.
it's a memorable time. You want to do my hey? You want to review the Parent Trap from 1960? Alison Klemp, where can people find you on social media?
At Alison Klemp, ALISONKLEMP on all platforms. And yeah, check out my podcast, The Tableverse.
Yes.
And
It's all about role-playing games, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a live play Starfinder podcast. We just released our not first season, our most recent season, and we'll have more stuff coming out soon.
Guys, if you like, this is your first time listening to the podcast, if you're a huge Michelle Pfeiffer fan, because I don't know why you would start Maleficent 2 when I did Maleficent 1 and Sleeping Beauty, by the way. We are just rolling through Maleficent material here.
Yeah, I'm really honored to be the resident Maleficent analyst. We're sitting here before the podcast and he's telling me about all the actual good movies that he has other people coming on to talk about. And I'm like, cool. Can't wait for Maleficent 3.
Well, it's also a direct-to-DVD Sleeping Beauty movie that I think I want just to cover. But I'll have you cover some. No, because, you're easy to get to. So I might give you a series of movies, and also you're fun to talk to. So I might just give you a series.
You hear that, guys? I'm available and I'm fun.
Because sometimes it's hard to get people, and you get them, and they're just like, "What'd you think of the movie? I didn't like it. Why? Cuz. Okay, that's fine. Good. Well, that's the end of the podcast.
Well, all right, great talk.
Yeah.
It's
well, did you like the scene where? Yeah, no, not really. Why? Okay, good. Well,
that's why it's great to have people with ADD on podcasts because we can find any kind of jumping off point to go to.
I know.
We'll never run out of things to talk about. We've been recording this for 3 hours.
Recasting the Blue Fairy to recasting Tony Stark as Louis C.K. And I would go see that movie. Sorry. I'm sorry. Not sorry. I'm addicted. I have a problem.
Okay.
And then it went from...
I would have an intervention with you if that happened.
The agents and managers. Let me tell you, if they recast Iron Man if they put Louis C.K. in as Iron Man, I think everyone has to have an intervention with everyone. I think there's going to be a massive overhaul at Marvel Studios the next day. So.
Yeah, I mean, that would never get greenlit.
That would never even happen, yeah. But I probably would. I probably would wander to that movie theater and be like, no, I'm going to wait. Wait, what happens to the after credits? Okay, I got to go.
I would sneak in. I would want to see it, but I don't want to support it with my money.
Hey, Captain America, is Black Widow doing anything today?
Wouldn't it be awful if you pirated that movie and then you got arrested for pirating because of that movie? And people are like, what are you in for? And you're like, I pirated the Louis C.K. Iron Man. And they're like, damn, you wanted to watch Louis C.K. so bad you went to jail for it?
Hey, Black Widow, what are you doing? You want to come into this room? Yeah, I have this idea. No, it's none of my Iron Man armor. Do you like to watch things? Okay, here's the situation. I am going to... Anyway.
I'm feeling very uncomfortable right now, and I just hope that you let me leave this room.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, don't worry. Sorry. I was...
I don't know how far the Louis C.K. role play is going to go.
It's not going to... Oh, hey, okay, so back to the plugs. Sorry. If you enjoyed these Maleficent podcasts, we've covered every Disney animated film, every Pixar film, and we're covering live-action remakes right now. Next week... The Lady and the Tramp remake, one of the first things on Disney Plus, launch day. Cisco from LOL is returning to cover that. He covered the first one. That's his favorite Disney movie. Let's see how he feels about this. He's probably going to hate it. I put it on for 3 seconds with my friend Beth, and we were like, shut this shit off, and never put it on again. So I do not have a good feeling about
You're going to ruin his childhood.
Well, it'll ruin my childhood watching it for 4 seconds. That was the first VHS I ever owned, was the original Lady and the Tramp.
That's my dad's favorite Disney movie.
It's a beautiful movie, but this movie's going to... I'm sure I'm going to hate it. I hate it. I put it on for a few minutes. I remember Beth was so funny because you remember the Scottish dog, the little Scott dog? It's a woman. And she goes, is that a woman? Shut this shit off. And I was like, okay, sorry. But it was like a really bad voice.
I'll take a female Ghostbuster any day, but fuck off if I'm going to listen to a female Scottish dog in Lady and the Tramp.
That's no. I mean, come on.
Get that goddamn scarf out of here.
Why the fuck you think this is going? So she was like livid, but also the dog's movements were really weird. Like the great thing about Lady and the Tramp is
I didn't realize they made a live action one.
It was one of the first things on opening day of Disney Plus. Yeah. The great thing about Lady and the Tramp, they really captured dog's movements, and they did it by pencil. Like when she was a puppy, I literally thought, did this dog watch Lady and the Tramp? Talking about Jasmine, but the computer doesn't nail it like that. But that's next week. And follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Ray Goots, and follow the podcast on Instagram. I got to update the podcast as Twitter, but I don't. Goots is any pod. Alison Klemp, thank you so much for enduring.
Thank you.
Another round of Maleficentness. I will have you on for something better.
Okay, you owe me.
All right, Louis C.K. the special. I'm joking. Okay, talk to you later.